Did you know we can adapt the sustainability pillars for parenthood? The use of secondhand items is the perfect example of working with human, environmental, and economic well-being. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Mama's Footprint. Hi, and thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Lucelia Raymer. I'm a community college professor and the mom of two beautiful girls, Beatrice and Sophia. This channel is dedicated to them as I walk the journey of motherhood while learning and sharing with you more sustainable ways of parenting. I'm pretty far from getting it all perfect, but I decided to put aside the sustainable mom guilt and share with you what I'm learning while I'm learning it. I hope this encourages you to try the same. We need lots of imperfect caretakers out there, more than we do a handful of perfect ones. Today I'll be covering secondhand items in parenthood. We'll start with the benefits of secondhand furniture, clothes, and toys. I'll then show you ways to get involved in communities that will help you find and give secondhand items. Let's start with furniture. What we most want to avoid in furniture for our kids' room and our home is something called VOC, or volatile organic compounds. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, VOCs are compounds with high vapor pressure and low water solubility. Many of these VOCs are human-made chemicals and may have short and long-term adverse health effects. Short-term may include eye, nose, and throat irritation, headache, and dizziness. Some VOCs are suspected or known to cause cancer in humans. They are also common groundwater contaminants. There are multiple sources of VOCs, and furniture is one of them. The good news about VOCs is that they will eventually dissipate, or off-gas, which is where one of the benefits of secondhand furniture comes in. Furniture off-gases intensely during the first 6 months after they're purchased. On average, it takes 1 to 5 years for furniture to stop off-gassing. So when you opt for used furniture, you lower your ecological footprint by not only reducing the extraction of raw material, the pollution coming from manufacturing and transportation, and the waste, such as packaging waste, but you are also avoiding groundwater contamination and air pollution. All of this, in turn, will benefit your family's health. Not to mention that you're also saving financially, and who doesn't like that? Here's a little bit about clothes. According to the UN, it takes 2,700 liters of water to produce a single cotton shirt and nearly 10,000 liters to produce a single pair of jeans. The apparel industry consumes more energy than aviation and shipping combined and is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions. It's also responsible for the pollution of air and water, due mostly to the chemicals from dyes, producing 20% of wastewater. The good news is that the fashion industry has recognized that it has a crucial role to play in improving our environment and reaching the goals of the Paris Agreement. The better news is that we can significantly reduce our clothes-related ecological footprint by opting for used clothes. And we're not even tapping into the footprint that goes into packaging, transporting, disposing these clothes. Remember that instead of simply throwing them away and contributing to the massive amount of greenhouse gas generated by landfills, you can opt to repair, donate, sell, swap, share, upcycle, or recycle. And what about toys? How do they play a role in all this? According to Capital Counselor, 3 billion toys are sold every year in the US alone. 3 billion. That's nuts, right? If we think about it from a sustainability perspective, think of all the raw materials harvested, the wastewater produced, the greenhouse gas emissions coming from manufacturing, packaging, transportation, landfill. It's hard to wrap our minds around it, isn't it? The thing about it too is that as caregivers, we know that kids will often grow tired of their toys pretty quickly. It's why we rotate toys in school and oftentimes at home. And you know what else? A study done by Dowk and collaborators in 2017 looked at the influence of the number of toys in the environment on our toddlers' play, and they found that less is more. Having fewer toys encouraged higher cognitive behavior. Kids played longer and in more varied ways when presented with fewer toys. Having too many toys reduced the quality of play and increased distraction. All in all, they found that kids are happier with fewer toys. What a paradox, right? If we consider our kids' well-being, we should present them with fewer, not more toys. and that perfectly aligns with a lower ecological footprint. Better than buying fewer toys is donating, receiving, swapping used ones, because it helps us reduce our footprint even further. Okay, so how do we go about practicing secondhand gifting? First of all, I don't want you to think that I'm discouraging you to donate furniture, clothes, and toys to nonprofit organizations. I actually very much encourage you to do that. I also encourage you, however, to research the place you were planning to donate to. Sometimes there has already been a saturation of items you want to donate. Without an honest research, we risk donating for the sake of getting rid of things, more than for altruistic purposes. And when saturation happens, it's very likely that donations may ultimately end up in landfills due to lack of storage space. That being clear, let's talk about building a community that encourages the exchange of secondhand items. The first way to go about it is to straight up let your groups of caretaking friends know about your interest in secondhand gifting and receiving. Here's an example. I have a group of dear friends from when Bee was in preschool. One of Bee's buddies has a 3-year-old sister, Isla. When Isla has toys and clothes that she outgrows, she gifts them to Sophia, who's almost 2. And Beatrice, who's 6, will gift Isla with items that she has outgrown. It's such a sweet cycle. The other day, Isla gifted Sophia a bag of clothes, and I ended up finding a t-shirt that belonged to Bee when she was 2, and that really warmed my heart. A second way of being involved is finding social media groups that offer items to members belonging to the same neighborhood or town. I'm a member of 2 groups. One is called Ask, Borrow, Give, which does exactly that. The ask part of the name allows you to ask for items you are in need of. Beatrice has learned that before purchasing something new, we can check to see if there's a bigger kid out there who's willing to give away something that she wants. This happened, for example, with a globe that she wanted for her room and a doll stroller. She got so excited when she discovered that a child that she didn't even know was willing to gift her one of their toys. This is also great practice for kids to learn to let go of material things. We often sit to filter through toys that she no longer wants, and she knows that a younger kid will now have a chance to enjoy the toy or clothes that she once loved so much. The borrow part is especially interesting. There are lots of requests to borrow ski boots, ski gloves for a weekend trip, things that you only use once and never again, especially in Southern California. The beauty of these groups is the trust that comes with it. Parents who have the ski boots to loan will communicate with the parents looking to borrow them, and in private, they will coordinate a day and time for pickup. The give part is exactly that. These groups are not exclusively made for parents, but there are a lot of items for kids because of how fast they outgrow everything. Someone will post a picture of, say, a bag of baby clothes, and the parents in need of these baby clothes will post a comment to that picture asking to be considered, and the giver will pick a name after a day or so. Then the coordination for pickup happens privately. There is a sister group, which is actually a project called the Buy Nothing Project. You can look for it as Buy Nothing, followed by the name of your town. And then there are variations of this. Oftentimes, someone announces in one of the groups a Junk in My Trunk event, which is basically a free community yard sale. We all bring our items in the trunk of our cars, park in a public or school parking lot, and voila, everyone, including passersby, can come over and pick up whatever they want for free. I've seen that done in a smaller scale in public parks on picnic blankets. Another variation I've seen in these groups is the traveling toy bin, where you fill up a bin of toys and you start passing it on. And the person who receives the bin will get the toys that may interest their kids, and the kids get to refill the bin with toys they no longer use. And you know what? If those 2 groups are not available near you, don't let that stop you. You can easily create these groups and activities in schools, mom and me groups, summer camps, texting groups, you name it. All right, friends, I hope this got you inspired. Please let me know through the comments section if you have any questions that I can help you with or any information that you need. I would love to know more about your experience as well with secondhand gifting. We need everyone on board. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.